What up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm MoedotJ. We're locked in. It's that time of the year, The Chi season 4. Now, it doesn't officially release on Showtime till the 23rd, which is Sunday, but they went ahead and released a full episode on YouTube, and you know I had to jump onto it. Hey, Chi, hell of a show. I got some memorabilia for season 3. Is it cool if you guys send me some for season 4? Just asking. But before we get into this episode, shout out to the notification gang. If you're new to the channel, you want to be a part of this, hit the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Hit that like button. It's the easiest thing you can do. Now, The Chi season 4, what I do know about this episode is we're focusing on a little bit of police brutality. Now, we know a lot of stuff went on in season 3 with Keisha being locked up and kidnapped and raped. So we will touch bases on that, but I know y'all don't want to hear from me. Let's jump into this recap. This is episode 1 of season 4. To start the season off, we get glimpses of what happens throughout the season. We have Kevin running around somewhere in a suit, a tuxedo. We see Otis, he's getting shot. We see Emmett in the bathroom sweating, because one thing we know about Emmett is he always messing up, so he always in something. We see Keisha having the baby. So all of these glimpses are projected out throughout the season. That's what I'm assuming from this, but it does look like it's going to be an interesting season. I can tell you that. Kids gonna be kids. Now we know Kevin and Gemma, they've been very close. We see Kevin, he's sleeping in the bed with Gemma. They wake up like, oh, what time is it? And they like, oh man, you got to get up out of here because Gemma's dad's about to be done. So what can they do? Nothing. Kevin has to jump out the window because he can't go down the stairs because his pops catch him. It is over. Back at home though, they looking for Kevin. Kevin ain't there. Keisha talking about he might be with Gemma. Mama Kev like, who said he can go over there? He ain't grown. She like, what do you want me to do, Mom? You want me to text him and find out where he is? She like, yes, please do that. Please find out where Kevin is. Now we know Gemma and her family, they got some money. So her dad's looking at the surveillance camera like, this Negro thing, he's slick. So he has some footage of Kevin jumping out the window and getting dressed. And guess what Kevin's about to do? Kev knocks on the door. Hey, Mr. St. John, how's it going? Boy, we got you on surveillance jumping out that window. He doesn't say nothing to Kev, but we know what you're doing. Good old Emmett and Papa. We know Emmett took over the little smoke shop and he actually was making some money, very profitable. Now we know there was a shooting there last season, but hey man, that's neither here or there. We're moving forward. Papa works for him. He's like, here's your first check. And Papa's like, hey, how about that employee of the month? If it's your first check, that means you only been there 3 weeks. So that means maybe only one paycheck has passed. You ain't been there long enough. But Papa's like, hey, can you start paying me under the table so I don't have to give my money to Uncle Sam? Y'all know them taxes be eating our checks up. And Emmett's like, hey, bro, I finally went legit, man. No. And then, so Papa starts to order some food. And he's like, hey, man, just because you eat free don't mean you get to order 2 things. He's like, oh, no, this is for me and my girlfriend. You know we always do breakfast together. Mr. St. John, successful black man, well established, and he's just talking to Gemma and Kevin like, hey, Kev, did you see that there was some young black guys that looked like you that was burning some stuff down? And they're all saying, who cares what the white people think? But what he's saying is, it doesn't matter what the white people think. They're going to see a black boy and assume all of y'all are alike. Now, if we keep doing this, the Olympics will never come to Chicago. Now, Gemma's talking about no one cares about the Olympics. Kevin's like, I do. But what he's trying to say is with the Olympics coming to Chicago or any state in America, it's going to bring in a lot of money. And she's like, oh, that's just communist talk. Well, he said, I'm going to remember that communist talk when you want a new purse. Yeah. Get on her, Mr. St. John. Let her know. Ooh, Miss Tiffany that came in. When this relationship fails, holla at me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to step on nobody's toes. But when it's over, let me know. Now, she comes in. And at this point, they're doing good. You know, they got married. They're trying to make things happen. Emmett finally got a successful business going. I don't know if she's still slinging that weed on the side. Probably is. But she comes in. He's like, call me what you know I like you call me. She's like, I'm not calling you daddy. He's like, no, I want you to call me boss. She's like, I definitely ain't calling you boss. So it's good that they have a good relationship. Now, it's still hard for me to believe that Lala, a.k.a. Dominique, be in the kitchen throwing down like she's throwing down. But, hey, Dominique being there doing her thing. Now, Tiffany comes in and she's like, hey, since you're the only person I know that can really cook, can you make me some edibles? And Dominique's like, it's not that easy. You don't just take some weed, boil it, and you get THC, and you just throw it in food. And no, it doesn't work like that. But Tiffany's like, please, if you could help me. Dominique says, I know somebody that used to be able to do it. So let me see. I might be able to, I might be able to help you out a little bit with that. Emmett walks in, and Emmett is always nervous. I told you in the intro, he's always sweating because why? He slept with Dominique. He's married to Tiffany. Tiffany and Dominique are getting close. And girls get to talking. So he comes in. Hey, what are y'all talking about? Y'all talking about me? They're like, man, ain't nobody talking about you. Why would we be talking about you? But he's nervous and paranoid. And he has every right to be, even though he's the one that did this on his own. Okay, we get to see the family. They doing good. Imani in there cutting hair. You got Trig over there. I don't know what kind of business he's handling. But they also have Jake in here sweeping up the floor and stuff. He's like, man, I got to get up out of here to go to school. Now, we know Trig is playing that father role to him because ain't nobody trying to be around Otis. Ain't nobody come here to see you, Otis. So he's asking, hey, you ready for that quiz today? And, Jake's like, I think so. But I never thought I'd like school like this. So it's good to see that these three, they're actually together and they making it happen. But of course, Douda doesn't let that last him for a long time. He comes over. He's like, yeah, I like to do my business in person. Pretty much, he's coming over to bring over the money for Jake's tuition. And he's looking at the place. He's like, Imani did a good job in here. But Imani says, yeah, thanks to you and your help. Because, he wants to let it be known. If it wasn't for my money and, giving you guys this startup, none of this would be possible. Darnell comes in here, and we know one thing about Darnell. Darnell's going to be lying to you, and he's always going to have that earpiece in. And he's telling whoever he's talking to, hey, yeah, man, I'm on the way. He gets in, Emmett's like, man, there you go, lying. But him, he's like, hey, it's a good day. Where's Dominique at? That's my next wife to be. And Emmett's like, yeah, you said that about their second and third wife, man. You ain't going to pick one and settle down. But Darnell's like, nah, this is the one. Tiffany's helping Keisha out. One thing we know about Keisha is she went through a lot in season 3. She ended up getting pregnant while she was locked up and raped. So now she's trying to figure out which family she wants to give her child up to for adoption. And Tiffany's there helping her get dressed. And Tiffany's trying to say, hey, it shouldn't matter what you're wearing. You're going over there and you should see what the parents are like, because that's what's most important. They should accept you for who you are because they want the child. So Keisha picks out an outfit. Tiffany looks at it like, don't wear that one. Keisha like, I thought you said it didn't matter. Yeah, it don't matter, but just don't wear that one, because it was some sparkly stuff like, man, disco fever. Believe it or not, Dominique actually tells Darnell, hey, I got to talk to you about your son. He's like, which one? She's like, Emmett, fool. He's like, oh, okay. She's like, well, we had sex. And he kind of gets quiet. He was like, oh, well, that was bound to happen. For him, he's like, man, I know my son. It is what it is, So she's like, oh, you're not mad? He was like, nah, it happened. But, I mean, hey, we moving forward. That ain't got nothing to do with us. That's the past. But one thing Darnell does do is go over to Emmy and checks. Hey, man, how you gonna propose in front of your mistress to your baby mama? How you gonna do that? Because he knows it's silly. Like, Emmett, you are messing up, fellas. Fellas, listen to me. First of all, never smash nobody you work with, especially if you in charge of them. And second of all, never smash anybody that knows your baby mama or your wife. Come on, man. The game is that easy. Before Darnell leaves, fixes the earpiece. Oh, yeah. Real quick, Emmett, don't forget, we coming over for movie night. Tiff said it's cool. And even Emmett's mom's like, guess she's keeping it in the family, huh? Everybody knows. The kids are walking outside. It's snowing, and that's what I hated about the Midwest, so I got up out of there, man. I hate the snow. But they're walking, and Jim was like, hey, are you coming to the event tonight, Kev? And he's like, oh, well, me and Jake, we going to a basketball game. She's like, well, what about the event? And he doesn't even remember the name. But he's like, I do want to support you. It's just we're going to this basketball game. And it's not that I don't want to go. I love you. It's just we had this basketball game planned. And Jake, he's like, man, I never say that to no, man, you tripping, Kev. And they walk off because they got to go to the basketball game. You know what I'm saying? Otis and Rosalind show up to this, what it looks like a little building. But there's a lady in here. She's an activist. Now, she lost her son last season. And he's saying, you're so brave with what's going on with your son. Most people, when this happens, they go into a little ball and they don't, saying they don't do anything. But for you, you're strong and you're actually putting awareness out there. And she's like, well, that's nice, but why did it take you so long to get here? And he was just saying, I had other things going on, but I'm here to support you fully. She's like, okay, thank you, but I don't know if I want support from who they say you are, because we know that Otis, he in these streets, even though he's the mayor, he in the streets. So he tells Rosalind, hey, make sure she gets the information, have her come on through tonight, because we're going to show support for her. And before he leaves, I'm not who you think I am. He's trying to get this support from the streets because, you know, hey, when the mayor goes up for re-election, you got to have some people behind you somehow, even if you are playing dirty. On the way to the game, you know, Jake got to get fresh. I got to put on some real clothes. I can't rock that school uniform. And I know the feeling, man. I didn't wear a uniform in school, but I did do ROTC. But as soon as I was done with that class, man, let me change. I ain't about to be wearing this uniform all day. Now walking around school, I ain't, you know what I'm saying? Once they get off the train, they start walking towards wherever the basketball game is. But when they get there, some dude looks at Kevin like, what do you think you are, the Fresh Prince of Chicago? Because he still has on his school uniform. Now, Jake, of course, he's going to stand up for Kev no matter what. So he gets in their face and they start to arguing. And this is Chicago, so you know how that is, man. These young men, it's unfortunate, but they go at each other all day, every day. There's police nearby and they hear the fighting and stuff going on. Well, it's not really fighting, it's just yelling. But they go over there and you know how they are. They don't never actually look at the situation. They just, hey, you come here. Let me see some ID. And of course they go for Jake, the young black man with dreads. He doesn't have on a school uniform. So to them, it just looks like a quote unquote thug. And they like, let me see some ID. He's like, man, I ain't got to show you no ID. I ain't do nothing. And this leads into the cops just being overly aggressive. They start whooping on Jake. They throw him down. They're beating him. Kev tries to do something, but the cop pulls a gun on him. And Kev is like, oh, man, whoa. The whole time we got Papa and his girlfriend. They're actually recording the whole situation. Then we see Jake get thrown into the back of a cop car. Face is all bloody. Face is bruised up. Man, excessive force. We see it. We see it every single day. All the kids, they go over to Emmett's to eat. But they can't really eat. All of them, they're like, they hurt of what they just seen. And everything that they're thinking about is like, man, something worse could have happened. Something could have happened to us. The cops could have killed somebody, man. It's just terrible. Keisha has the meeting with the family that are trying to adopt. Now, these two, they're married. But Keisha can sense that something's off between them because every time the lady says something, the man, he either disagrees with it or he's just trying to be, oh, yeah, I think we could do this. We could do this. So Keisha's looking at it and she's saying, well, it's very important that you guys have a good relationship within your marriage because I want my child to be with a family with two parents. I was born in a single parent household, and I don't want that for my child. Now she's looking at these two and she's like, man, something just isn't right because they keep arguing. And they're like, well, we do want the child. But I guess this is what a woman's intuition is. She can sense that it's just off between these two. And she doesn't want her child to be in a bad relationship. One thing the woman says is, no one's going to love that baby more than me. And then the man says, well, no, you mean more than us. And that right there could already show you that, yeah, there's some differences between these two. And Keisha was right. Keisha was right. She noticed that, hey, something's off. I don't think I want my baby coming here. Now they're having a debate on what should they do with the footage. Papa's girlfriend, she has the footage and they've been watching it and they're like, we got to release this. Kev is saying, nah, don't do that because Jake doesn't want anybody to see him getting punked by the police. But Papa makes a valid point. What? And just let injustice, prevail? We got to release this footage so people know what is actually going on in these streets. But Kev, he doesn't know how to take it. And he's just like, nah, don't release it. I don't want it out there. This stressing guy, Kevin, out here rolling up that sticky, hitting the bottle like, he ain't got no money. So that's some cheap liquor, but he taking that thing to the head. That's what happens when you got a lot on your mind, man. It's tough. It is tough. PTSD. You see Kevin having flashbacks. Cops pulling the guns on him. You got Jake on the ground getting whooped on. All the kids are around. They looking at him like, hey, man, y'all doing too much. Too much. Kev, he's really going through it. He's declining calls from his girlfriend just because of this PTSD. And I know exactly what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? How he's feeling. DC, I had 8 cops pull their guns on me for mistaken identity. They thought I robbed a Burger King. Come on, man. Why would I rob a damn Burger King? out in Reno, Nevada. I got pulled over for going under the speed limit because I didn't know where I was at. Speed limit 35. I was doing 22 so I could see. Pulled over for that, and they talking about, oh, there's a lot of trafficking and stuff. So I know all this stuff. Phoenix, Arizona. I got another story. I went to the club when I was 23. I got pulled out the club because of a murder that happened the weekend before. Luckily, I had my government badge on me. Like, hey, bro, last week I wasn't here. Last week I was up in Flagstaff. So I mean, I know how it is, man. Being wrongfully accused and attacked by the police ain't nothing to play around with, man. Everyone's wondering, where's Jake at? Where's Kev at? Jake finally calls Trig, like, hey, Trig, I need you. He's like, what's up, bro? He's like, hey, man, I'm in the hospital right now. So now you know Trig, he about to go off because the first thing he's thinking is somebody hurt him. You got the lady sitting around, and the new lady, the activist, she's like, well, I don't know about Otis, you know what I'm saying, but I'm going to get this money for this help. They like, yeah, you need to watch out for his wife, though. She's like, yeah, whatever, I'm going to get this money, you know what I'm saying? This fool Darnell showed up for movie night. Now, movie night is going to be very tough for Emmett because on Emmett's mind, he's like, damn, Darnell knows I done smashed Dominique. Oh, man, the only person in the house that don't know is Tiffany. He comes over with Soul Food, the VHS, with the damn VHS player. That thing is huge. Look at Emmett. I told you he always sweating because he always in some nonsense. So he's sitting there. He hear them behind him laughing. He paranoid. Like, man, what are they talking about? They talking about me? He goes in the kitchen. What y'all talking about? They like, boy, get your ass up out of here, man. Emmett's like, all right, man. But in the back of his mind, he's like, oh, my goodness. I'm in for it. Otis has to take a call. Now, when he takes a call, it just leaves her with Rosalind. Rosalind looks at her and like, so you want to F my husband? She's looking like, oh, man, whoa, wait, no, nah, I ain't want to do that. Nah, I mean, I probably would, but I don't. Rosalind's like, don't worry about it. I can share. I don't care. Because you know Rosalind and Otis, their relationship is more business than it is actually like a physical or sexual relationship. They do business together, and it's always looking good if you have a wife with you when you're doing business or a significant other. They're going in business by yourself. You just seem more stable when you have somebody else. We see Jake in the hospital. He has a handcuff on. He has a cast on the other hand. Face is all bruised up. Now, Trig, he in here wilding out. He talking about, I want blood for whoever did this. Otis shows up and he tells the cop that's watching, like, hey, you know how I am? Unhandcuff him. Now, this is where the conversation gets interesting. Trig is like, what are you going to do about this? Were you just going to suspend him with pay? And Otis is like, hey, man, listen, I'm going to do what I can. But, you know, you can't just go out there and indict somebody. Hey, come here. You have to go through the procedures. But Trig is still angry. Now, the whole time, Jake is like, man, what are you even doing here? I'm all right. You know what I'm saying? Jake is always going to play that tough guy role. But we have seen him be humbled before. Keisha, and they all at the house. They playing a little bit of Monopoly, shooting some dice. And she's like, I knew something was off with that family. And I want my baby to be in a happy environment. Now, her mom is telling her, you really just, hey, you got to believe in God. Because once that baby goes there, however they raise it is how they're going to raise it. And then Dre's talking about, yeah, man, putting the baby up for adoption is like shooting craps, man. You just taking your chances. Come on, 7. Sometimes you might get them snake eyes and crap out. Kev comes in the house, but he doesn't say anything. And as he walks up the stairs, they're like, Kevin, what's wrong? He just looks at him and says, police. They don't know what's going on. They were just like, oh, Kev was out, you know, saying he went to a basketball game. He came back. But if this kid was abused by the police, Jake is in the hospital and he's like, man, forget it. I'm just going upstairs. He gets upstairs. He takes his stuff off and sits on the floor. This is a teenager. Remind you, he's 15 years old. So going through this trauma at a young age is going to be hard. Now, his mom comes up there and she's like, you want to talk about it? But at this point, he's been drinking, he's been smoking. All he just wants to be, you know, is in the comfort of his mom. So he doesn't even speak on it. Look at him in here, sweating his ass off. Remember, Darnell brought over the movie Soul Food. And in Soul Food, the cousin slept with the husband. What do we have here? The same situation. The same situation. Dominique slept with Emmett. Dominique is with Darnell. Emmett is with my lovely lady Tiffany, and he's just like, oh man, this movie is making too much sense. He's sweating, but they had those edibles because Dominique been hooking him up. He just losing it. Fellas, this right here is exactly why I say do not sleep with anybody you work with, anybody you're in charge of, and anyone that knows your woman. Matter of fact, I mean, you know what I'm saying, don't step out at all. But if you do, those three you need to avoid. Now they're sitting here, Dominique smiling all in her face, knowing that she slept with Emmett. Talking about you the best thing that happened to him, getting married. And then they talk about, yeah, they quick to get you pregnant before they get you married, before they marry you. No, y'all quick to let them get y'all pregnant before you accept a ring or a marriage. Get married before you carry. Ladies, that's on you. Kev ain't changed. He's playing the game to keep his mind off of it. But Keisha comes in and she actually talks to him and tells him, hey, don't be like me. Don't sit in your room all balled up. You don't need to get a therapist, but at least talk to me. If you talk about situations that happen, it's going to get you through them. Because if not, they're just going to stay balled up inside. And Kevin's like, really? You really care about me like that? You want me to talk to you about this? So he's opening up to his sister because that's his closest relationship. Now, last season, she had the trauma and he was trying to be there for her. But now he realizes she's there for him. And then they get a, hello, y'all looking for company? It's the mother that wants to adopt, and she comes over with a peace offering and some popcorn. And she tells Keisha, I wasn't trying to lie. We are getting a divorce, and we did feel like a child would kind of help us maneuver through this. But I really want to adopt your child because I couldn't have one and I always wanted one. But for Keisha, she's saying, I understand that and I respect it, but I want my child to be raised in a 2-parent household. And this lady, she may be a good person, but at this point, Keisha doesn't want that. Kev finally goes and visits Jake in the hospital. Now, these two are seeing two different things. Jake is saying, why didn't you do something? Why you ain't have my back? And Kev was like, I tried to, but they pulled a gun on me. So he was like, man, you could at least recorded it. And he said, Maisha recorded it. And then Jake's like, oh, well, she more of a rider than you. So at this point, these two, they're at odds, but it's a friendly thing. It's just they both see different perspectives of it. Jake saying maybe I should have worn my uniform. And Kev is like, nah, that ain't it. Because you remember Mr. St. John told him earlier, it doesn't matter. All these white people see is a black person. And they think you like that black person over there and you like that black person. So see, this comes full circle. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. They just see the color black. And of course, the glue, Papa comes in. Kev is getting ready to leave because he's mad. But Papa's like, the Three Musketeers, we're back together. He tosses Jake some Skittles. Like, oh, okay, you still got hand-eye coordination. They start looking at the footage of what happened. He's like, man, look at all these views I got. So Papa's going to be the one to talk to both of these like he always is and keep these two together. Okay, how Jada got her groove back. Now, we know she got a masseuse, right? Young boy comes over. She like, where's your table? He's like, oh, no, I think we need to skip that tonight. Let's go to dinner. So she like, all right, let me go get my purse. She goes over there. He's like, oh, you won't be needing that. And I want to keep you for dessert. So this young boy doing his thing. Now, he's been calling her Miss Washington. She's like, look, don't call me that no more. You know what I'm saying? Just call me Jada. So, okay, Jada getting her groove back. Otis shows up to help our new lady out. And she's like, I wouldn't have thought you would have came over here. And he had his suit on. He's like, I like to get my hands dirty a little bit. So you could tell that they start flirting a little bit. But one thing we know about Otis, he isn't always genuine. He's probably just doing this to get in, to maneuver some stuff, finagle some things, so he can benefit from it in the end. Watch out for this man. We know Trig was looking for blood for whoever did this to his brother. Now Imani calls him. He got the ski mask on. He's waiting up under the train track. And you hear Imani say, hey, he's coming. Puts the mask on. Bap, bap. Starts pistol whipping this cop. And I'm talking about he is whooping on him. He doing this for my boy Jake. Hey, if you in Chicago, don't mess with Jake. Trig will be on your ass. And that's the last thing we see is a pistol whipping. There you go, episode 1 of the season premiere of The Chi. Let me know what you think about Jake and Kev. Do you think they're going to squash this little beef that they got next episode? Because it's really not a beef. It's just Kev sees one side, Jake sees one side. Let me know what you guys think. I'm MoedotJ. If you like the content on the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Stay tuned for episode 2 next week. I'm out.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.